children, and some are even the children of Satan. You know Satan's children by the way they stare at you if you go to Pine Mesa, hating you for dressing like we do, in our long dresses and dusty boots, and wanting to tug our neat, long braids, and saying things about how we don't go to school. When I was still young and worked in the front pens with the other children, where my lips were always salty, the devil children would come sometimes in a car and say these things over the fence, and sometimes take pictures while we were trying hard to do God's work and to hold dominion over the beasts and feed the pigs and chickens. We always ignored them, my siblings. In all, I have 9, 4 of them by my same mother, and myself didn't pay them no mind because they were just using the devil's tongue to try to get us to quit our being of God's children. My older sister, Anna Lou, sometimes talked back to the devil's children, waving hello even, and once when she was mad, she even said to me that she might just run away and go to live with them, and even ride in their cars with them. And it turns out now that she was truthing. But back then I thought Anna Lou was just saying this because she had found out she was not like to be married, owing to the limp she had been born with. But still, it was hard on me at this time, as I did not think I would be like to stand it if Anna Lou, who is 15 and 3 years older than me, fell to the devil, or worse yet, got sent away or put out to battle the devil herself. Because once you leave, you can't come back. I was worried. And even though I knew that Anna Lou was not all the time truthing, sometimes I feared greatly that she really did mean what she said. "Devil ain't got no children," Anna Lou would even sometimes say, and our brother Levi would pinch her when she said this, and tell her that in fact he did, and she was like to be one of them because of her limp. And I would shake my head at how wrong she was. But that's before I found the one I'm meant to share my eternity with in the celestial kingdom, and learned more about how life really is. And then learned what he really had in mind for me. I always thought Jeremiah was handsome, but I never put much thought on him really because I was promised to his father, Josiah, ever since I was 10. They was supposed to wait until I was 14 until the hitching happened, but on account of Jeremiah, it happened some years early. It started when I got charged in the teaching of Jeremiah's little sister, Mary, how to read better, because even though she was 9 years old, she still could not get through the scriptures without all her awful stuttering. So in the mornings, I would go to get Mary at her family's place down the road, and we would take the book outside and sit under some tree, and I would listen to her trip over all of God's words, meant to be said smooth and fine. It was hot in the morning, even in the tree shade, and bugs clicked their wings, and it was hard to stay awake while I listened and corrected her and tried to make her repeat what I'd say. So it was a welcome thing when Jeremiah began to sneak away from his work on the new fence to come and visit us. Jeremiah and I always got on fine growing up, and he used to tug on my braid and tease me, but in a nice way, the way I liked. Not like when Levi did it and really hurt me, or like the other boys who would do something like let a sow out of a pen so I'd have to chase her down. But now we were working grown-up jobs, relieved of the holding of dominion and of the feedings, and I was working mainly in the house, and he was off working with the men on whatever needed working, and so I hadn't seen him most all summer. So it was like I hadn't seen him since we'd quit our being of children. The first time he just came and stood and watched us for a minute, like he had something to say. And I looked up at him, and Mary kept reading, only louder, and then he went away and I watched him disappear into the dry grasses. And I think that's when I first felt I might be in trouble, because it was the first time I noticed that Jeremiah had grown since he turned 16, and his chest was wide, and his hair, which was blonde,